Okay, I've gone through here and picked out key problems just to give you guys some help for tomorrow. So remember, number one, you don't have to figure out what angle theta actually is. We just have to show the different ratios. So the sine of theta would be opposite over hypotenuse. And then I'm going to divide those by 3. And that's all I need. Now for these other ones, you're going to have to solve for this using whatever method you want. Pythagorean theorem would probably be fastest, and then fill out the other 5. I'm sure you can do that. Okay, 4. I saw some people use law of sines on this. That takes too long, but gets you the right answer. What I would do is just use basic trigonometry, like the stuff I taught you last year. So from 42, x is the opposite, and 14 is the hypotenuse. So sine 42 equals x over 14. Cross multiply and solve. 5, 6, and 7 work the same way. Okay, number 9. Give each degree measure in radians and each radian measure in degrees. Okay, I chose this one because it's negative. So remember, negative is clockwise, so we need to multiply this by something. It's either pi over 180 or 180 over pi. So just think about, how it looks when it's in radians, right? It's pi over a number. So that means you need to multiply it by pi over 180, which is going to give us negative 54 over 180. And give me just a second as I reduce that guy. That would be negative 3 pi. Oh, there's pi up here too. Negative 3 pi over 10. Okay, and then this one, remember, you're going to multiply not by pi over 180, but by 180 over pi. 15. Okay, been a while since we've done these kinds. So we need our coterminal angles, and then we need our reference angle. So first of all, let's picture this in degrees. So that would be 180 over pi. And 7 times 180 is, just a moment, basically when you do all that, I think that's 1,260 divided by 10. Let me make sure here. Yeah, it's going to be 126. So coterminal angles, remember? Coterminal angles, so it's got to picture it like this, okay? So we still need to write our angles in radians, though. So I need one positive and one negative. So remember, I can just add 360 to that and take away 360 from that, because that would give me a positive and a negative. But if I have a big one like 800, remember that works a little bit differently, right? You might need to subtract 360 a couple of times to get a negative on that one. But on this one, it's as simple as just adding 360 and subtracting 360. So as soon as I know that, now that this angle makes more sense, or maybe some of you guys can already picture it, and you know that, adding and subtracting 360 from this one is going to give you a positive and a negative, then you have to write your answer in radians. So all you have to do for that is go 7 pi over 10 minus 360, which is 2 pi. So 2 pi in tenths is 20 pi over 10. And then that would be negative 13 pi over 10. And then we have to add our 20 pi over 10, and that's going to give us 27 pi over 10. And then our reference angle, so here's, got to picture 126, okay? Picture the 126 coming out like this, and it's coming up here. So what does that make this angle here? that would make this angle 54 degrees. Okay, but this problem is presented in radians. So 54 degrees times pi over 180 is 54 pi over 180. And then I need to, I'm sorry, that is 54 pi over, yeah, I didn't write my pi, 54 pi over 180. And then when I simplify that down, that's going to give me 3 pi over 10. See all the work that I have shown in there, and I even erased a little bit? I need to see that. At least something that shows me you figured this out. I had common denominators to work with here. I had degree conversion. I had to picture it on the coordinate plane. I would not just have these three things. That's a little suspect. Okay, 16, the terminal side of theta. Let's read this one. Okay, so just picture this in a coordinate plane. And 6, -8 would be right here. Essentially, that's our triangle. And maybe some of you guys have memorized that 6, 8, and 10 are a Pythagorean triple. If not, if you did the Pythagorean theorem, you would soon find that out. Okay, so sine of theta. So that'll be right here. Theta is the reference angle. So that would be -8 over 10, which is -4/5. If people mess up here, it'll probably be because they'll forget about the negatives. You can take it from there. 24. These are the tough ones, okay? This is what we practice with the unit circle stuff, all right? So I chose a really tough one that was in radians and like in inverse, like cosecant. Remember, cosecant is the inverse of sine. So you want to give the exact value of that. Okay. So let's go ahead and picture this one. So we got 11 pi over 6. I'm going to go ahead and make that. This is where you follow my steps on the board, okay? Or you could also think of these kind, now that I'm looking at it closer. Maybe we could think of this as, no, I don't like that actually. Let's continue with this, okay? So let's go pi and then 180 up here. So we got 11 times 180. Give me just a minute. So this is probably why they have you memorize them in high school. It's because who wants to do all this? So if you do want to memorize them tonight or something, go right ahead. Basically, this is going to equal 330, okay? All right, so we need to picture this. Here's my 90, my 180, my 270. And then that's going to be another 60 degrees, making my reference angle 30. And I have a 30, 60, 90. And we know that this is 1. These are the things that we memorized earlier in the week. I did a video. I don't want to wander too far away from this to my video, but yeah, it's this one, okay, where I told you to memorize these things with the star. So remember, we have a 30, 60, 90 with 1/2 1, and then square root of 3 over 2. Okay, so let's go back here, and because of that, opposite the 30. And then we have these three. And we're doing cosecant. So remember, we have SOHCAHTOA, and then we have SHO, CHA, TAU. So this one would be show. So what's show? Well, show would be, oh, remember this is negative 1/2 too, right? So this would be hypotenuse over opposite. So this would be 1 over negative 1/2. So 1 over, it's just a fraction, right? A lot of you guys can already see what this is going to be. And then this would become 1 times negative 2 over 1. And 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. Okay. All right. That's about the toughest one on there. Okay. The rest of these should be pretty good. Let's just draw up 32 together though. So in PQR, angle P is 53, PQ is 16, and QR is 10. So I like drawing the angle first. And then that is angle P. Then PQ is 16. And QR is 10. And you need to find angle Q. Okay, this is law of sines and law of cosine stuff. I think you guys can figure it out from there. Don't have to do these three, 39, 40, and 41. And then 42 is good. And actually, when I separated you guys' packets, the end of the test was cut off, or the end of the study guide. So if you want me to, if you finish everything and you want me to print that for you, I would be happy to. Okay? Hopefully that gives you a good start.